Hey friends, Dr. Harry here. And we're talking about failure this week, friends, because not only is failure a key to your success, but when appreciated with an open mind and an intentional spirit, it will springboard you toward reaching your oversized goals. Now in medicine, we tend to be overly critical of ourselves and take the safer of the two roads, which only hampers our journey toward your excellence. And we can do better at it. And that's precisely what we're going to delve into this week. Now, I love to fail. I really do. It's something I do in front of my coworkers, my team, my nurses, my wife, and my kids. But more importantly, I want to get 1 or 2 layers deeper and figure out the why. Why did I fail? What could I have done differently? What could I have improved on? Because friends, failing for the sake of failing is just not fun. But as physician leaders, it is imperative that you be unafraid and look at projects and goals that are just outside your comfort zone and go after them. Yes, you're going to fail at times, but the road that got you to that failure is paved with so many golden bricks of wisdom. And these, my friends, these bricks are what you build upon for monumental success in your personal and your professional life. One of my favorite poems is from Robert Frost, and it goes like this, and you may have heard it. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Such a great quote, and I keep it beside my desk every single day. So let's get started. Why do we even fail? Well, on some levels, we all know why we failed at one thing or another. But in medicine, many times it's either a lack of preparation or a lack of knowledge. Now, I can vividly remember during my emergency medicine residency when I failed to get what's called an easy tube. And an easy tube, for those you may not know, is an endotracheal intubation with a high chance of success on the first attempt. And I was baffled. I was simply baffled while I was still a resident. I had already intubated many more challenging intubations. And it was not until I got home that evening, because I was still thinking about it, that I visualized the process from 5 minutes before to 5 minutes after the procedure. And I quickly realized that I didn't prepare well. I didn't have the patient positioned well, nor did I have my equipment ready or available. And from then on, I adjusted and I pivoted from what caused me to fail to another way toward success. So James Clear has a great way to think about this, which he calls the 3 stages of failure. James Clear is the New York Times bestseller of Atomic Habits. He says that there are 3 stages of failure. Stage 1 is a failure of tactics. This is the how we fail. It's having a goal but no plan to get you there. A good example may be having a goal to lose 20 pounds. And you can visualize yourself looking and feeling better. You even might purchase some new clothes in a smaller size, but you'll fail at achieving your goals as you have really no clear system to help you achieve your goals. You didn't create a plan. You didn't carefully monitor and log your meals. You didn't track your progress. This was a failure to execute on a good idea. Stage 2 is a failure of strategy. This is the what of failure. In other words, you followed the plan. You did everything that was charted out, but still failed. And this is where most people stop and quit, which is the exact opposite of what successful physicians, entrepreneurs, and business leaders do. This is when they step back, reorient, pivot, and they keep going. Now, friends, changing direction or strategy is normal. It is what makes you successful and forward thinking. Remember, success is never a straight line. It's herky-jerky. It's up and down. So remember that. Stage 3, though, is a failure of vision. This is the why we fail. This is when you don't set a clear vision for yourself. So you may be saying, well, I've already achieved my vision of becoming a doctor. Well, unfortunately, my friends, my brothers and sisters in medicine, that was just the beginning. If you want to do more, be more, and grow more, you have to continue to enlarge your vision. Failure of vision also refers to following a vision that doesn't fulfill you. This is similar to climbing the proverbial mountain only to realize that you are climbing up the wrong one, right? So how do we do it? How do we feel better? It's easy to look at other successes and feel that you are a failure. But in truth, and it's rarely shared, that successful, and I mean truly successful, people have failed time after time. So let's appreciate some lessons on how to not only appreciate failure, but to fail better. Lesson number 1, friends, is to accept that failure will happen. It's going to happen. While life is going well and firing on all cylinders, you feel that you're unstoppable. Then the unthinkable happens and you fail at something and it seems to derail you. Accept failure as simply part of the process. And I'm often saddened when people don't fail because they are leaving so much on the table, not challenging themselves to reach for more. The military is probably one of the best organizations that embrace this lesson of accepting that failure will happen. Their after-action reviews, or AARs as they're called, are structured debriefing sessions that focus on what happened, why it happened, and how to learn from going forward. The focus is to learn rather than to cast blame or point fingers. There's a great quote that says, never expect to fail, but always plan for it. The fastest way to get back on track is to have a plan for when you're off it. And that's from James Clear. Lesson 2, my friends, is learn from the failure. Never waste the failure. Don't dwell in it, but use it for fuel to learn from it. Think deeply and critically about what could or should have been done differently. Were you in a rush? Did you not plan enough? In many cases, our failures are predictable and preventable. Dr. Atul Gawande, he opines in his New York Times bestseller, The Checklist Manifesto. He says he begins by distinguishing between two different types of errors. Errors of ignorance, which are mistakes we make because we don't have enough knowledge, and errors of ineptitude, which are mistakes we make because we don't probably have we don't probably use what we already know. And in his book, he mentions that as experts in our field, we need guides or checklists to walk us through complex procedures or tasks. Lesson 3, my friends, is to create a new habit. Now that you've accepted that failure will happen and you've learned from it, create a new habit or routine to grow from it. To thrive in this lesson, you need 2 things. First thing is a place to record and measure. For repeated success in this habit, it must have a specific place to outline your new habit, and most importantly, how to measure your success. The full focus planner, which is always beside me, is really what I use. This is the section that you can record weekly, quarterly, and annual goals, and additionally a place to track and measure your progress. Second thing, friends, is a place to review and pivot. So I do a weekly review on my success and failures every Sunday, always. It allows me to review what has worked well and more importantly, what didn't work well and how I will adjust the following week. You see, all too often we don't get it. We just get into a rhythm and just do the same thing over and over again and wonder why we're not growing or thriving as we once did. Now, I would bet that you are not consistently doing a weekly review. Now, if you want a checklist or a worksheet, an example of my weekly review, click the button in the section just below and you'll have access to it just for free for you guys. Lesson number 4, share your failure. I'm always puzzled why, and as physicians, we don't share lessons learned or realized. Maybe it's because we're afraid that we're going to be judged or we are not competent enough. And that's just simply juvenile thinking, and frankly, it really destroys our overall wellness. As I mentioned earlier, I love failing, especially in front of others. And while it is useful to reflect on our individual failures, the real reward comes from sharing the lesson with colleagues and with friends. So shared learning builds trust and goodwill. More importantly, and as physician leaders, we create a culture of open-mindedness where new ideas are appreciated and welcomed. We create an environment of forward-looking individuals rather than accepting ideas as doctrine. And finally, friends, lesson number 5, be bold and take risks. If you succeed at everything, you are not taking risks. You are playing it too safe and not growing to your full potential. There's a great quote again that says, a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. That's from Franklin D. Roosevelt. So to become better at risk-taking, start small. In their wonderfully written book, Great by Choice, Jim Collins and Warren Hansen recommend to fire bullets than cannonballs. The bullets represent something low risk and low cost, whereas the cannonballs represent the much larger risks. So do not allow the risk of failure to prevent you from trying new ventures. The more you risk and fail, the greater your chance of ultimate long-term success. So the difference, friends, the difference between average and extraordinary is failure. Extraordinary individuals respond to failure with open arms and an open mind. Realize failure is not the enemy, rather a good friend. Failures have been my greatest teacher, and I encourage you to incorporate the lessons that we talked about today and welcome the opportunity to fail and appreciate the tremendous growth you will undoubtedly learn from. So until next time, friends, be good to yourself and each other. And if you've not yet become a subscriber, hit that button right below and you'll be one of the first people to have access to these videos. Hope you enjoy, friends. Till next time, we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.